if what I'm doing presently relates to something that's been an injury or a trauma in the past, right? Now I start to accumulate these. What do I mean by that? The same way that I saw that little plug on the floor and I thought it was a snake, I can be in a situation right now and it can feel like something that happened when I was a kid. And here's a real common thing. Happened when I was a kid, happened in middle school, it happened when I was in high school. I talked to a guy the other day, he just had this sense of like failing at things, right? And so he was behind in school, and then he had problems in junior high, and then he had problems in high school, and he actually was pretty successful. But he always had like in the back of his mind, like, people don't realize that I'm not really good at this, I'm going to fail at this, right? So every time he got into a situation now in the present, it just pulled out that whole string, that whole box of fears, and just unloaded it right in the present. We're not made to handle those traumas, even, and this may be a difference, in terms of, you can have big trauma, but you can have a lot of little ones that add up. And when we pile those all together, those can seem like pretty big. So I've had people, I remember a guy, he drove up to the building, he told me he would sit in his car. I had a guy do this last week. Sit in his car and say, I can't go in there and face what I've been doing every day. I can't go in there and do that. You know, it wasn't one thing. It was one thing after another, after another, after another. You know?
Sure. A series of events, and that's a lot of times, especially, you know, treatment. When I see people have come to a treatment center, they've had addiction problems. You know, they've been able to manage it. You know, they've taken Percocets, or they've drank beer. Well, and now their father died, and they lost their job. Now they're home, and they're alone and depressed. Now that Percocet becomes Oxycontin, and that beer becomes liquor. You know, and it's like that final straw.
Right.
You know?
Well, and some people do this. I mean, the guy that I told you who sat out front of the place of business, he had been doing like Xanax and stuff like that for 10 years. You know what I mean? It didn't come on like all at once. It was gradually coming on. The other guy had he just smoked more and more and more pot. He never really sort of worked through it.